Hello, my name is Starlight. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and I want to reach out to all of you out there, see how all of you are doing, and you know what I'm going to say, right? I hope you're getting out in nature somewhere. That is so important. And Starlight was able to get out today, to do yoga and meditation and lay out in the sun a little bit. I did get some color, and I will be going somewhere soon because I want a full suntan, so you know where I'm going to be going very soon. And anyway, I want to reach out to all of you out there and make sure, I don't know what your weather is like in your area. Make sure, you get plenty of water. Starlight has a glass right here with her. When you do go out, if it's, nice out, not nice out, but beautiful out, when that sun is out there shining, 70s and up, you really want to make sure, if you're going to be out in that weather, is to get plenty of water and make sure, you get some exercise, stretch your legs. And I will announce this at the end of my video. Hopefully I do not forget. And something that I've been working on. I only mentioned it in one video so far. So anyway, now I can start. If you are new to my YouTube channel, welcome. And you can find me at Starlight, and that's Kathy with a K, Dingman, and that's where you can find me on my YouTube channel. Plus, you can give this video a thumbs up, and you could share this video with a friend or a family member or even your pet. And you can also ring that don't forget the notification bell. I'll ring it. And you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. Plus, if you want, you can send me a message. The best place is at Instagram, and that is at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook at Kathy with a K, Dingman Starlight. So really, on Facebook is the greatest place because I get so many messages, So if you really want to connect with me, Instagram would be the best place. And, don't forget, to leave a message down below, especially on the YouTube video. I know a lot of people do send messages on Facebook down below the video there, but nobody's going to really see that unless they're on my Facebook page. So thank you, though, sending sweet messages on my Facebook and reaching out, those that do. And anyway, now we can jump right into this new video. And it's all for you men and women out there that are thinking, about having a baby, or you might already have some babies. Or, they might already be grown up, or, they might be half grown up, maybe they're like 10 or 11 or whatever, or, you might have grandkids, so this video is for men and women. Really, you might not even be planning on having a baby, and, a lot of people don't plan on having babies, and where'd you come from, So this is actually to help all of you, anybody that's single or going out with a guy or a girl, boyfriend or girlfriend, or, you might be married and you might be thinking, hey, we've been married and now we want to have babies. So this is the title is, why do you want to have a baby? I know I have to say you might not know how old I am. But when I was 49, so that will give you a clue about how old I am, is I wanted lots of babies. I really did. And to be serious with you, I have two of my own, a boy and a girl, and they're in their 30s. And, that I practically brought them up without their dad. Their dad wasn't around. Where did he go? Nobody knows. So anyway, I brought my kids up, and my kids are amazed. Like, how did Mom do it? We struggled bringing up our own two kids, their kids. My daughter only has one, and my son has one, both boys. So we got, I have two boy grandsons, grandsons, of course, they're boys, and they're at two different ages. One just turned 13, one will be 4 in October, so that is coming up. And, so both of my kids are amazed. They didn't realize what it was like to have their own kids until they had their own, you know. So I must have made it look easy to them, bringing them up. And, I do love both of my kids. They came out really good. And are they perfect? No, they're not perfect. But you know what? They're not going out and, they're not in jail, So I did teach them a lot of things in life. And so anyway, my kids give me a lot of credit of how did you do it, where they had, my daughter had a husband, and, like to raise up her son. And my son had a wife, and it took two to bring up their grandson, just like it is now, So, and I didn't have a daddy around to help me out throughout their daddies weren't around, to help me bring those two up, and I was a single mom, and I had to go out and work and, be the mom and the dad, so I've learned a lot, and I would love to have babies, but really, I just told a really close friend, I wrote to him not too long ago, and, now that I know really about the world and the truth of this, really going down that rabbit hole of really the way this world is, knowing what I know now, I would love to have tons of babies. Like, I'll take the pain, to be able to deliver them and all that. But really, the way this world is going, do you want any more babies? And why do you want more babies? So this might sound crazy, is I'm here to discourage you. And you might be, thinking I'm crazy to saying that. Why would I be discouraging you from having babies? Is that, why do you want to have babies? And, throughout my life, I was a single mom with my kids. And, I did have a man here and there, throughout the time of bringing them up, but they were not good father figures at all, so, so really I did it all on my own, and I did it the hard way, and because I was single, there's things that I would have loved to done. I did get to, my kids started off in public school, and I did not want it, but I was single, and I had to go to work. I had to bring money home to be able to bring them up, and then later on, I still was working, and I had my two kids, first it was just my daughter, and then my son came along later, and then my son and daughter, they started, I wanted them out of the public school. I did not like my kids being in public school. I know what it was like for me where I went, I did not like it one bit at all, and they're, not saying that it's all bad, but, they do teach a lot of stuff that I do not agree with in the public school system, and it corrupts our kids, and it's a part of the matrix, the world that we are in, and a lot of you might not even know what the matrix is. So I really can't really go into full detail on that, because really this is focused on why do you want a baby? What is it? What is your vision? Why? How do you picture what you're going to do? Are you single? Like for a mom, are you single? Do you want to bring up kids, without a daddy? Because even though I had my two kids, a boy and a girl, and their daddies weren't there at all through the whole time, when I was bringing them up, is, I wanted to have more, and I really didn't even care if there was a dad around, I'm like, hey, give me I would like to have more babies, give me a baby, you can go, I can do this all on my own, and that's how really bad I really wanted more kids. And but that never happened, and now I can't have any more kids. So sad, I could cry. And but I'm glad that I wasn't able to, because what I've learned being a mom with my two kids, I did get a taste of homeschooling my kids, and I did get a taste of my kids going to church school, where I actually was doing a little bit of teaching and working. You know, I was actually helping a special needs girl. I loved her. She needed a lot of attention at one-on-one. And so where I was going, my pastor said, hey, we'll we'll teach your kids. You do a lot. I was doing a lot of work for the church. I was full-heartedly doing a lot, knocking on doors, bringing in lots of kids. I mean, like, I brought like 50 something kids, picking up kids to bring them to the church that I was going. I did this all on my own without anybody's help, except for God. God was the one, helping me out, gathering these kids to bring them to church. And because my pastor seen all the work I was doing without anybody's help, is he knew I didn't want my kids in a public school, and so my kids were able to go to church school, and that was great there, And then later on, I got the opportunity to homeschool my kids, and that was the best thing that could ever happen as far as my kids, because I got to know everything. I got to be the one to teach my kids, and I didn't even have a GED, you know, never went into high school. If I could sit there and homeschool my kids, you can. So this is what this is about is, why do you want kids? Do you want to have kids so then, okay, like if you're a wife or you're a husband and you're like, okay, I'm married, or you're not married, maybe you got a boyfriend or girlfriend, and you're like, hey, like, let's have babies. And, not everybody gets married these days. And I'm not here to judge you whether you get married or not, because I've never been married myself. So my question is, how do you picture, like, what is your plan? As far as you want a baby, you already got in your mind, I want babies. Hey, my friends got babies, and, and, they look so cute, and, you get to see everything, maybe you got a brother or sister or relative or somebody that has a baby, and, you get to spend some time and play with them and watch them grow, and, you're like, like, or maybe you get to hold one, especially the women. Not a lot of guys, well, but there are guys out there that are great men, and I'm not picking at men one bit at all, because, my son's a daddy, and he's a great daddy, so, anyway, is, you might be thinking, I think I can do that, one of my questions is if you're a lady, is the guy gonna, is he a good boyfriend? Is he a good husband? That's one question. Then, if you answered yes or no, depending on your answer, if you said, well, we do actually have some problems, then really I would discourage you from having any babies. If you're having problems with the guy that you're with, your problems are gonna triple when you have a baby in the picture, and then you got to question, like, the person that you're with, do they even want to have a baby, or do they only want to have a baby because you want a baby? Maybe it's not in their heart to have a baby, but they want to keep you happy, so then they're like, yeah, even if it's a no to themselves, but they're saying yes to you, and it could be a guy. You could be the guy. You could be the guy that's like, hey, I would like, not that it's going to come out of you, right? You might be saying, I would love to raise up a son or a daughter. A lot of times the guys do want boys, and girls, it's hard to say with the women. Um, when my daughter was born, I wanted a daughter. I wanted to put dresses on her. And then I had a beautiful son later on, a few years later after. And I am very happy with both of my kids. My son is a gentleman. You ask his wife, she's very super happy. She said I did a great job bringing him up. And that's not with a daddy around. You know, so so you got to really ask yourself, guys, the girl that you're with, if you got a girlfriend, how is she? Does she keep the house clean? Does she cook? You know, what kind of food does she eat? If she cooks, is it, does she go to the fast food place a lot? Is she eating healthy? Is she taking good care of herself? And girls, same with him. Is he eating healthy, and, is he exercising? Is he keeping himself fit? Is he going to the doctors like he should? Or does he, like have health issues but won't go to the doctors? Or, you got to really is he clean? Does he keep himself kept up? Does he have any addictions like gambling or, drug addictions or alcohol? Is he, also, did he go through trauma as a kid? Did he go through abuse as a kid? How is he mentally and, emotionally? And guys, how is she mentally and emotionally? Does she have what it takes to be that mom? A good mom. A mom that is, like, besides herself, taking good care of herself first, is she gonna really take care of the baby? Does she do her laundry like it should get done? Does she go around the house and clean it up? Those are very important things to look at before you decide to have any babies. Is she responsible? You know, is she, balanced in life? Does she have friends? What kind of friends? Does she have a drinking problem, or does she smoke cigarettes, or does she, like have some kind of, like mental problem, or has she been abused? Is she going through horrible stuff? Does she have depression? So you got to look at all this stuff, and how's her health? So that goes on with the guys and the girls. And so again, here we go again, is so why do you want to have babies? Now this happens. It happens all the time. It happened to me when I didn't want it because I was a single mom. Like I said, my kids went to public school, church school, and then they were homeschooled because I was with a man, but not a great example to be with my kids, where they're, so anyway, I'm not going to say any more about that. It's just not the right man to be a dad. Not a great example, so anyway, with that is when I was homeschooling my kids, it was the greatest thing for me because I didn't have to worry about, is anybody doing anything with my kids? I knew that they were safe. I knew that I actually can teach them anything I wanted to teach them, and it was how I wanted it, not to have the public school, raise up my kids. It's not the government's job to raise up your kids. It's not the school's job to raise up your kids. A lot of people end up having babies, and they, if you're the person that, okay, you got a boyfriend or your girlfriend, or, like, really, if you're married, that's super, the guy committed to the lady and the lady committed to, they got married, where not that that is always gonna stay that way, because anybody can back out of that, or even, a boyfriend, girlfriend. So I'm not saying that just because you're married that you're gonna stay married forever. People do, they get divorced because one thing or another, they're not happy with each other for whatever reason it is. So a lot of couples, what they plan on, they're like, yeah, you know what, we're gonna get married. Well, some people, like are Christians where, they won't have sex until they get married, and my son was like that. He didn't have any sex until, he courted the girl, and then later on he got married to her, and then, he had sex on her honeymoon, and I'm so proud of him, because that's how I brought him up, is to do things the right way, is to, like to stay with that one girl that he's only been with one girl his whole time. He's still with her, very happy, you know. And she's a great wife and she's a great mommy. So my son did very good, you know. So I'm very proud of both of them, the way they're bringing up their son. And, you know, not that they're perfect. No, there's no perfect parent out there. I wasn't perfect. You know, that's how you learn. You learn, you know, by your lessons that you got to learn. You know, it's their first time having a baby. And, you know, I did all kinds of silly stuff when my daughter was born. And, you know, she fell off the couch one time. You know, that was a lesson, you know, like I didn't realize she was going to wiggle her way off the couch and boop, she was, you know, it was a big drop, you know, so, and that happens, you know, and that was a long time ago. These days, they got so many safety things out there for your kids. So what is your plan? Do you plan on, like, say if you're married or you got a boyfriend, girlfriend, and you plan on getting married and then you want to have kids, a lot of times people want to hurry up and, you know, sometimes they have the babies before they get married, and then if they have the babies before they get married, they don't want really anybody. They're kind of embarrassed that, oh, you know, that they did have sex before the kids came, you know, so and then they could have gotten pregnant before they even got married, so then they, you know, they're like, we're pregnant now, we got to hurry up and get married. So it's kind of the backwards kind of, but it doesn't really matter. It's all, God knows, God understands, you know. Like I said, I never got married, not legally, you know, so, you know, where a lot of people, I don't even know what the percentage is. I would probably have to say, maybe I'm even way off. I would say probably, I'm going to say like 95% of the people goes this way. You know, it's a very small percentage of the people in the whole world, you know, that do this. Is most every couple that is planning on having a baby, their plan is to, let's have babies. She's going to go, you know, like in the beginning, the mom might stay with the child, or it could be the dad, because that's how it was with my son. He stayed, and mainly, you know, like he did work still, but he mainly stayed with his son in the beginning. And then, you know, so he did. It's a lot for him, you know, the first time dad, and, you know, the whole scary thing of, you know, like making sure your kid's still alive through the whole thing and all that stuff, making it through the first year that you know, your infant made it for the first year, and, you know, they're still alive. You know, they did every safety precaution that they could possibly do, you know, to keep the baby alive. It's so funny. You know, they didn't have all that stuff when I brought my kids up, you know, and it just was so beautiful seeing my son put stuff around the, you know, like foam around tables, you know, so the baby wouldn't knock his head, and, you know, everything. All these, I didn't even know they had all these things. But, you know, a lot of people go with the way society is, and does it make it right? Not at all. You know, just because you know, 95% of the people do it this way, it doesn't make it right. You know, so anyway, is a lot of people, they plan on having a baby, and they're like, you know, and things get old really quick. They bring up their child in the house, you know, and these days the women are a lot different than they were, you know, like a long time ago, where I wanted to be the stay-at-home mom. Hey, I'll take care of the house, I'll cook, I'll clean, I'll get the yard done, I'll do the gardening, I'll do sewing, arts and crafts, I'll bring up the kids, you know, I'll take the garbage out, you know, that would be my full-time job, you know. I didn't need any money if I have the man that is going to support me and, you know, like to be that provider, like he is supposed to protect his family, you know, where let me be the one to stay at home. And that doesn't mean that I'm lazy, you know, as long as the moms are doing an excellent job, whoever stays home, you know. So a lot of most people these days, what they do is they have babies, and in the beginning they might start out, you know, like the mom might stay with the child like up till the time when she's, you know, a lot of women either breastfeed or don't, depending on if they can or not, or if they want to or not. You know, not everyone can breastfeed. You know, everybody's different, or they don't want to, or the baby, you know, like my son, he doesn't watch these videos, but, like my son breastfed for a little bit, and, I couldn't get him to breastfeed, so, I had to do the bottle thing, and I didn't want to, but hey, he's got to eat, so, anyway, so everybody's different. So after the first, like after the baby is done, a lot of times the mom starts going out and get a job, and then they get a babysitter for the baby already, and really, we really got to change that around, like really the women, not, like the way the Bible is to have the women, a lot of women, they want that money. They want to, climb up the ladder in a business, make a lot of money. And I understand that, it is not, I did homeschool my kids, and I wasn't even allowed in that situation to even go out to work. But really, I wanted to be with my kids to homeschool them myself, that way I knew, what was going on with them. I didn't have to worry about it. And, my son, he graduated by being homeschooled. And I am so proud of him, so even my daughter graduated, but, that was a different situation on that. So, the thing that I want to say is, why do you want to have kids if you're just going to drop them off to have somebody else take care of them? That's the point of this whole message. Why do you want to have babies if you're just going to have somebody else to raise them for you? So, this is why I want to make the video, is because we need to, like as good moms and good fathers, to not to drop our kids off to, like whoever's place. I feared sending my kids to public school. I really did. It tore me apart, but I had no choice. I have my background, the things that I went through as a kid. I wanted to protect my kids, and I couldn't protect them when I had to go to work. So if I could have done it all over again, from the very beginning, I would have made sure, like I was too young to understand what a good guy was. I was only 16 and a half. So what was I going to really know at 16 and a half of picking out a good man? So that happens out there in the world that, you might not even had good examples when you were being brought up. What is a good parent? What is a good wife? What is a good husband? So how are you going to go out and figure it out on your own? So I learned a lot when I went to church, though. So that's where I am able to make these videos, because I learned a lot when I started going to church. Then that's when I wanted to, I was going to turn into a virgin all over again. Really, I only had 2 more years, but it would have been, they say if you go without sex for 7 years, you're a virgin. I was so close. I only had 2 more years. So, because I was saving myself. I was saving myself for that one, when I found out the right way of doing things. And if you are young, and you're not married, and I'm going to put this out for teens anyway, because you know what? This would, I wasn't going to put this out for teenagers, but this is really important for them too, is to, why do you want to have a baby? You might be with a girl, and, you might be 18 right now, but, time goes fast, and, that's why it's so important for, not just the guys to use those condoms and protect yourself, because if you're not ready to have a baby, and I understand guys do not like wearing condoms at all. Now, in a girl, it's totally different, I got to say this, really, because with a girl, she might not even be able to tell any difference, really, depending on the condom, where with a guy, if they definitely don't want one, but if you don't want to have babies at all, if you don't ever plan on having babies, then don't get with any girl or, that wants to have babies. She's not the right girl for you, and girls, if you don't want to have any babies, don't get hooked up with a guy that wants to have babies. He's not the guy. Let him be, like let him find that girl that wants to have babies. That way he can, because he's more, he could possibly be a good daddy. Not always though, because that goes with the guys and girls. Sometimes girls want babies and then, they were not being a good mom. And why do you want to have a baby? There's some people that they want to have a baby so they can get government money. Did I just say that? Yeah, I did. Government money so they can get food stamps and they can get free cash and then they don't have to go to work. She can stay home with the kids and then they can have another one, and get, where she can't, hey, she can't, how's she going to go anywhere? She got pregnant again. So that does happen. So you really got to ask yourself, why do you want a baby? Do you want a baby to actually raise it up yourself? Don't depend on the school system or the government. Do it yourself. Be responsible. Like, hey, she's right. Why am I going to have a baby if I'm just going to have I'm going to have to pay a babysitter, to watch my kid. It doesn't make any sense. Absolutely not. I can't tell you what to do, but really you think about it, how many people are doing that? We think that's normal. We think that's the way it should be, but it isn't really. It's not. It's all backwards. This whole system of the matrix is backwards. Everything that we're doing is upside down, inside out. It's not the way God intended it. That's why it's so, women are not the way the women are really supposed to be. They've been changed, through their moms and stuff like that through history, where a lot of women don't want to stay home and be a mom anymore. She's tired of changing diapers. She doesn't want to stay home, but then don't have babies. If you don't plan on being the mom or being the dad, and like one or the other, either the guy stays home, but really in the Bible it says the man to be the provider and the protector. So really it would be the more, the right way is to have the lady to stay home where she takes care of all the stuff in the house, and then she can train up her kids to learn how to help her do it. So then later on, it's not just her cleaning all this stuff up that she's got all day. Starlight did it. I know what it's like. I trained up my sons. I had a stepson. I had to say stepson. I never got married legally. So is that I trained them, like they woke up in the morning. They ate their breakfast. Sorry, I got a piece of hair somewhere. Whew. They had their breakfast in the morning, and then they were homeschooling. And then after that, it's like, okay, we got some jobs to do outside. Let's get, the mowers out, like keep your bedrooms clean. I taught them how to cook. They knew how to make apple pies. My kids did. I taught them. They were young. We had actually an apple pie contest. Sorry, I had this hair. Itchy nose. I'm going to win a lotto. So that hair is still there. Sorry about that. I don't like to do that, but it's just tickling my nose like crazy. So yeah, is that they were being taught how to go out, and both of the boys, while I was in the house thinking, what are we going to eat for dinner tonight? So we had a new meal every night. Save on money instead of going out to a restaurant, where my job was to, hey, let's see what we can have for dinner. So I had the whole day to prepare, do my shopping and stuff like that. And, I got to learn how to sew when I stayed home. I got to learn all kinds of stuff, I didn't do a whole lot of arts and crafts at home, but I would take my kids, the boys, out to the library, and we got educational books that they would learn, like for, so they learned different, stuff that was going on with the history and stuff like that. And I know the relationship wasn't the right man, but that situation with me homeschooling was great. I could educate them how I wanted to educate them. And you definitely, if you do it that way, you definitely got to go to your school, wherever, whatever town you are in, and make sure you say, hey, I want to homeschool my kids, and that's why it's so important that the guy, the husband, you know, um, and if you have like a lot of kids at home and you're spending that extra money, on a babysitter, it's good to have where the husband goes out and gets a good paying job, where he doesn't have to pay for any sitter, and, then he's got where the wife is going to bring up the kids in the way that you want, and they can get homeschooled, and it would save you a lot of heartaches, down the road of all the stuff that could, they say one rotten apple spoils the whole bunch, and it will. That public school will, even in the church schools, they're not perfect either. I've witnessed some stuff, I can't really mention that story where, there was some Christian schools out there that were beating kids. And this is a really true story. This is no made up stuff. It was in Texas. You might want to Google it. It was a long time ago, but somewhere in Texas, these two guys did go to prison for beating kids at a church school. And that, we were actually going to a church that was a brother or sister of that church. And that's how I know that, because that is what was going on. And, where parents were actually filling out a form and given the permission to beat their kids with a rod. And you might be wondering, what is a rod? It's a branch from a tree. I can even show you how to pick one out if you want. You take a branch, and they say weeping willows are the best. It has a good sting. And, those actually, I can tell you what they feel like is, have you ever had glass cut through your ass? That's what it feels like. So, and that's what they were teaching at some of these churches, is to use a rod. I don't think those parents ever got to know what one of those felt like on their butt with no pants on. But I do personally know what those feel like, having a rod on my butt. So it can cut through the skin. And it feels like literal glass cutting through your skin. So with that is that, you are best to having your kids stay home, like with the mom, and where the dad goes out and gets a good paying job, and you don't have to worry about your kids going around getting the drugs and going around and having sex all over everywhere, fornicating and all that, and, all kinds of stuff. It would stop a lot of stuff, getting the drugs and cigarettes. You want to bring up your kids the best way you can. And I know this video is long. I could go forever on this topic, really. Is that, really it's not the school's responsibility to bring your kids up, and it's not the government's. We gotta do this on our own, and I would love to have more kids and all that stuff, but really knowing what kind of world this really is, like being in the Matrix, I wouldn't want to bring them up knowing what I know now anyway in this kind of world, the way it's heading, and unless things get turned around, like for the better, where people are actually loving and caring each other, and that we are, that there's no such thing as race, it's an illusion, and that, we're not fighting against each other. I just went by some people out in my area, going through town where they got peace signs, and they're trying to, not that they're trying to fight, but they want peace. They don't want war, and it said war for Russia. I don't watch the news at all, but I beat my horn, cheering them on a little bit as I went by, because I'm like, peace is what I'm about, and I just made a video for the teenagers about, that war. That war is not really, like we've been deceived out here on really what is and what isn't in this world, and the way this, the whole matrix is. So really, if you don't plan on staying home with your kids and bringing them up yourself, I can't tell you what to do, but, you got to decide on your own on if you're going to have babies or not, and how you're going to do it, because really it should not be other people bringing them up, because it just doesn't make any sense. Ask yourself, does it really make any sense? Why have babies, when you're not going to be the one staying home with them and teaching them how to potty train, and, teach them how to, they need their mommy and daddy, at least, like, like I said, one can go out and work, and, let the husband go out and do that, because he's supposed to be the provider, the mommy's supposed to be the one to nurture, to bring up the kids in a good, healthy way, where she can teach them the right and wrong and teach them about life the right way, get them ready for the future, and instead of having where you send your kids out to school where they're teaching you about competing against each other, who's better than who, that's all wrong. Nobody's better than anybody, because, once you think that you're better than somebody, somebody's going to be better than you anyway. Like who's the fastest runner, and when the other kids go to school, I was in this happened to me, is, you know, I loved sports, but because I was in a special class, they never picked me first. It was like I was the last one getting picked. I'm like, you know, so this happens to a lot of kids, because of favoritism. Some kids, they just pick out their best friends for sports. They might suck at the sports, but because they're their best friend. And that really damages the other kids, how they do a lot of stuff in the public school, competing against each other. Who's the fastest runner? Who's the smartest? Who's this? Who's that? Don't compete against other people. Try to be better than yourself, what you were yesterday. Just to, like yesterday, you know, um, I'm trying to better myself today, and it's little steps. You don't have to do a whole big. Sometimes you only get so much hours in a day. And sometimes, like today, things don't go out the way you were planning, and don't beat yourself up. Wipe it off. Okay, it didn't go the way I wanted, because that's the way my day was today. Things did not go the way I really was hoping it would go. But you know what? There's nothing I can do about it, right? Absolutely nothing. No sense in me bringing it up, because it already happened. I can't go back and rewind it and redo it again. So, you gotta, like tomorrow, I'll do better for me. I don't care about, I'm not gonna, that's why, there's, sometimes there's, girls might be out there wanting a certain guy or whatever, and I'm not about competition. I'm like, I'm not gonna, play those games, trying to win a guy over. I'm just gonna be myself and, do the best I can, with, I'm against competition, like trying to be better than other people. Just try to be better than what you were yesterday. Don't try to be better than the guy in school or the girl at school, or be prettier than the one, or, all that stuff, because that's what the school system teaches us. And before I go is, and when you send your kids to those public schools, not public schools, but like, church schooling, where a private school, for your kids, like Catholics, why, okay, I've never understood this, why the short skirts? Do you ever question that? You send your kids off to those schools, pay who knows how much money to send your kids in those private schools, where really if your wife stayed home and brought the children up, they should not look like clones. I'm against that. I'm against that all the kids look the same. They dress the same, and then the girls wear these short. Guys love. Ask me how I know that. Guys love girls wearing those. I would definitely not want to send my 5-year-old, 6-year-old or 7-year-old or 8-year-old wearing the same skirts that like a girl like me could wear, with the long stockings, the long white stockings and the black shoes and all that stuff, the Catholic school skirts and their tops. I had one, I actually got rid of it not too long ago. Why did I have one? Well, I like to role play, so what would Starlight wear? Hey, let's wear the Catholic school skirt, and the top has got, and the little tie that goes with it, so I have to get another one. So why do they have the girls dressing up? But do you ever question that? Or are you just like, well, okay, you guys say this is what, why? Why do they have the girls wearing that stuff? So I just want to throw that out at you. Maybe you're one of those people that do pay for the private school, and like, huh, that's funny. Yeah, because because you don't want other guys lusting after your little girls, right? So you definitely don't want them wearing that kind of stuff, like, especially when they're all, like being cloned, like clones, being sent to school, looking all the same, and we're not all the same. We're all different. Don't be afraid to let your kids be different. Let them be themselves. So anyway, I know this is long, but it's a very important topic. I do love all of you. You can give this video a thumbs up. You can share it. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can ring the notification bell. And if I had that school outfit, I would have worn it for this. This would have been a perfect one. Be like, woo, Starlight, what are you wearing here? Just to get my point across. So anyway, you can also leave a message down below. Plus, you can reach me out at Instagram, and that is 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook at Kathy with a K Dingman Starlight. So anyway, I do love all of you, and I am so sorry it's so long. I'm not going to do the introduction like I said because it is so long. Yeah, it's just that I'm going to have to do this another video. Maybe I can shorten it up a little bit. Maybe. So anyway, I do love all of you. This is Starlight. Love and light. Peace.